Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. And Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. I'm going to entitle this video, If You Think That the Mark in Revelation 13 is Sin, You're Stupid. Give me a second, please. Okay, I'm back. Please forgive me. So I'm going to open up with, I went to a key word, and I went to the scriptures first. So I typed in the word simple, and then I went to the Apocrypha. It's only, the word simple is only written, spoken of in one verse in the Apocrypha, which is Wisdom of Solomon 4, verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doeth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering concupiscence that has something to do with sex or lust doeth undermine the simple mind. So now let me come back over here. Let me see, let me come back once more. Okay. This is what I wanted. So like I said, I typed in the word simple. And it's in the regular scriptures 20 times. I'm not going to read all of them, but just some of them, the ones that stick out to me. Okay, I'll start with this one. Proverbs 8. Simple is also stupid, naive. You know, if you look up the word simple in the Hebrew, it leads you back to the word naive. If I'm not mistaken, it says, "O ye simple, understand wisdom. O ye simple, understand wisdom. And ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart." You got a lot of these camps out there that are, I don't have to put any particular name on a camp. You have certain camps out there, the alphabet camps, and you have people that came up under them, and the attitude that these people that become a part of that particular camp, whatever camp it is, they all come in simple. They watch the YouTube videos. Now you got other platforms, and they have an overwhelming feeling come over them, and they want to get with the camp, and they eventually get with the camp. And of course, the leadership of that camp is going to let them in with open arms, because that's more people. That means their camp is growing. And it also means money too. You know, it means a lot of things. It means fame. You know, like Bishop Nathaniel, he flaunts the men that he has. You know, thousands of men. But guess what? There's thousands of men in GMS. We're literally all over the planet Earth. And then you have some major big camps out there, major camps out there in LA, Chicago, Dallas is up in there. You got Florida. You got, the list goes on and on and on. You got some one-man camp, two, three-man camps. And then you got 50, 60, 70 men camps. And like for example, Chicago, you see maybe 5 men in one camp and 5 or 6 men in another camp. Those camps are so big that they got to break the camps up. In certain camps, you have a camp where the men in that particular camp, I'm talking about GMS, that only speak Spanish. But I mean, if somebody speaks English come along, of course they're going to speak English as well. Like the so-called Northern Kingdom camps, which are part of GMS. And the same thing with ISUPK and the IUIC. So you got these people that come in, and they all come in simple, knowing nothing. And then they learn from the teachers, and they take notes and they study. 6 months in, a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, there comes a time in a man's life. I had to throw that in there. There comes a time in this journey that you're in that you're going to start thinking on your own. And there's certain things that may be said by the teacher or teachers that, because you're studying too. Remember, you're learning, you're taking notes, but you're also studying too. You're going through scriptures. However you want to do it, you might say, well, let me read the whole book of Genesis, pull out keywords or whatever, or let me listen to it in the car. Or let me go to like the Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha. Let me just listen to that whole book, which I may do today. Because that's Yahweh Shai, is the wisdom of Yahweh Shai. And through you studying, you be in this thing maybe 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, you're gonna think on your own. You don't go by, well, let me see what the leader says, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna question it. Well, there's certain things you're gonna question. When I came up in there was a point in time where I was questioning a lot of things, and there were certain things, and me questioning the leadership that a lot of them guys in this top 7 were full of pride. So when you came up under them, you told them that they were going off. They'll come at you. But High Priest Ariel, not saying all of them, but some of them, but High Priest Ariel, he would consider it. And then he would, if that was right, he would say, you know what, you're right, brother. We're going to break it down this way. You were wrong on that. Okay? You got that? So when you come into this thing, you come in simple, and then you grow. You get edified. Now, when you look up the word edified, it goes back to the word. It leads to the root word to build, edifice. That's why people say, "Well, that was a good build," meaning a lot of edification came out of that. A lot of building. Edify means to build. Educate also goes back to within you coming out. It's a building process. So you got guys that's in this thing for 10 years, let's say 10 years, 15 years. These are the brothers that came in the beginning, 2007, 2008. They got 15 years, going 16 years in. So they're veterans, man. They're veterans. So they'll bring out certain precepts that we never taught them. A lot of the precepts that we taught these brothers that came up under us, which are elders now and teachers, with things that were never taught to us by the leadership, the 7. I'll give you some examples. Second Ezra's 11, second Ezra 12, uh, Daniel 11 chapter, really Daniel the 9th chapter. And there were certain other precepts that they didn't teach us that we learned on our own, that we went through the Spirit, prayed, fasted, whatever the case may be, put our heads together and broke them down. That's why you notice these different camps out here, they don't go into Daniel 11 or now they're trying to, touch on Second Ezra 11 and Second Ezra 12, like Bishop Nate, which he doesn't understand it because he said, "Oh, this part is talking about America. It has nothing to do with America." If you go to Second Ezra chapter 11, you read from the first verse to the last verse. It has nothing at all to do with America. When you go to the 12th chapter of Second Ezra, chapter 12, it expounds upon chapter 11. The angel breaks it down to Esdras, which guess what? It still went over Ezra's head. And it says in Second Ezra chapter 12, I believe it's the 36th verse or thereabouts, it said, and that's also in Second Ezra chapter 14, it says that there's certain knowledge that you get from the Most High that you don't give it to all the people. You give it to the wise, the spiritually woke. And then there's sometimes where the Spirit teaches you. So let me get back into some of these precepts here, and then I'm gonna go into Revelation 13 and 16. And as the title goes, if you believe that that's sin, you're just plain stupid, or you took the bag. Choose one. As the saying goes, make it make sense. And when somebody says Revelation 13 and 16, it's sin, it's sin, it's sin in your hand, it's sin in your mind. That is one of the stupidest things I ever heard in my life. And I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you how stupid that is and how it doesn't make any sense at all. This is why I took the video, that recent video that Sakari put up, head of Sakari. Yeah, he did a thing with what's the name of that group? What's the name of that group? Jump something. I don't watch all these other videos too. These other different channels. What are they called? Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. I want to get a chance. I want to watch the whole thing. Let me go here to. Bear with me for a minute. Like, for example, you got the Wi-Fi. They did a big 5-hour thing showing us that we going off on the MOTB, and then we came back. We pushed back, and they changed the subject. Now they're going into see these guys teach prostitution and rape, and this and that. Well, what does that have to do with the subject? That shows that you lost that war, man. You lost the battle. Okay, where am I? Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. Let me see if I want to see if I subscribe to them. Bear me for a minute. I thought I saw it. Okay, I did subscribe to them, which I thought I did. I did it on the other page. But anyway, let me see. Let me see what's new here. Or like I was saying, there was a video that was put up, and I kept saying, "Where's Sakari at? Where they at on the stands of the marketing people?" Which I already knew that they taught it. They didn't have to do no video. I already knew that they taught it, but the leadership did a video on it anyway, so I put it on my page because they didn't go off at all on that subject, right? Dr. Michael Brown versus Guerrilla Hebrew epic debate. And this guy's easy. The vocab is easy. He's easy work. That's why they like to debate him. He's easy work. Anyway, let me see. Where is this? Okay, I found it. Which I want to read. I want to look at the video. I looked at checked out some of it. This is a jumper, a no jumper. I'm sorry. Guerrilla Hebrew reacts to his no jumper interview. All right. Okay, you got this one here. Okay, it says a WW3 News, the truth about the MOTB. But then there was another one. It's probably on the live. Let's go to the live. Bear me for a minute. Let me see something here. Okay, this is not the one I want. Okay, but anyway, it's on my page, my Elders in Transit 3 page. As a matter of fact, let me go to that. Come on now. Okay. Here it is right here. Okay, re-upload Guerrilla Hebrew proves what the MOTB is. Then in this one, I explained that they had to put this video up. So for me, saying, "Where you at, Sakari?" They did a video, which like I said, I already knew that their stance on the MOTB. They already did videos on that. I was just making it spicy, get some controversy going. That we're not the only group because of the Wi-Fi. They said that they opened it up pretty much 15 minutes into the 5-hour thing. They pulled out the scripture with Paul and Festus, and Festus with his demonic filled ass. Here the Apostle Paul is spewing out supreme knowledge from the Most High, and this guy said, "You crazy." And like when we say Babylon which is the U.S. is going to be destroyed, people say these guys are crazy. The fact that we say that we're Israelites, people say we're crazy. So let's come back over here. So, okay, now let me come over here. I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to try not to make this long. I'm giving you a lot of filler, but it's good filler. Okay, a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. And that applies to all you women, lest you come up under the leadership of the men of GMS. and know your place, stay in your lane. You guys sound like you're sexist. You damn skippy. Stay in your lane. Just say shalom and keep it moving. You may have a question here and there. So anyway, the Lord preserves the simple. I was brought low and he helped me. So the simple man needs help. You guys believing in your leadership that's teaching you that the MOTB is sin, you guys need help. You guys really need help. It says to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. You've been on this earth long enough, you deal with women, you find out them all these women are demons, man. And that was even in this episode of The Twilight Zone with Wally Cox, the guy, the voice for Underdog. Wally Cox used to be he was one of the actors on The Twilight Zone, and he was like a computer programmer. And the computer that they built up that he controlled, the computer had the spirit of a woman, which is wisdom, right? So he met this other scientist and he wanted to ask the woman out, but he would consult the robot, the computer. And the computer didn't say all women are wicked, but in a roundabout way, you can't trust women. They'll stab you in the back, sort of thing. So he said, but this woman is different. You know, she's a scientist. She's not like the women in the street. And then the computer said, all women the same. Hey, so Rod Sterling, he had a lot of insight, man. He did a lot of episodes on UFOs, and that was way past his time, man. I wish they would bring that back. I wish they would bring, unless they got it on the Sci-Fi channel. They used to have a Sci-Fi channel, but I wish they would bring it back. I would be watching that on the regular. Okay, so let me see here. The simple, okay, it says Proverbs 14 and 18, the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with what? With knowledge. I don't have to read no more. But anyway, you pull up that word simple. The simple, it says the simple believeth every word. It says here, it says, whosoever is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him. I'm not going to read the rest. And be held among the simple ones. I discern among the youth a young man void of understanding. So who's void of understanding? The simple ones. A prudent man foreseeth the evil. And now what does that mean? What does the word evil mean? The word evil means a bad time or ill time. When this destruction comes, that's going to be an ill time. The Most High is going to send evil to this world. Evil is different than wickedness. And hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So if you don't take heed to this truth, then you're gonna have to suffer the evil, because you got these guys in these various Israelite groups saying that it's sin, that it's not a charagma. So now I want to see them keep the same energy when they set them stations up. When they say you can't buy food for your kids, I want to see you keep that same energy, because guess what? When they make that official announcement, which could be this year, beginning of the end of this year, the middle of this year, the beginning of 2024, like when the C-19 hit, that just came out of nowhere. And then they said you got to line up to get your thing. If you don't get it, you can't eat. That's what they said. There's certain restaurants, there was fights breaking out in certain restaurants. He said, you don't got your card, you didn't take your max. That was a dry test, a dry run for what's really coming. And you ain't gonna eat. That's the Most High feeds you. So I want to see you guys. And like I said, when they make that announcement, whether the president makes it or whatever, when they make that official announcement that we set up the Karagma stations, and you got to get them, and then there's going to be a deadline. If you don't get them, you can't buy anything. So you're going to think about all the GMS videos and all the videos that your teachers put up. Romans 16 verse 18, but it starts at the 17th verse. I'm reading the 18th verse. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. The good words and the fair speeches come to how the school that you at, the way the garments that you wear, that's all a part of that game. That's why preachers, they don't wear overalls when they preach. They wear them $5,000 suits. So you got to have that look. The look goes with the speech. And that's what gets the people. That's what gets the simple people. Anyway, I'm going to go to Revelation in the blue letter. And I'm going to show you that you're stupid as hell if you accept the fact that your teacher, your ruler, your God told you that the MOTB in Revelation 13 and 16 is sin. You are a stupid person. He didn't pull the fast one on you. He didn't pull the wool over your eyes. You haven't progressed in the spirit. And that proves that the spirit's not dealing with you. Remember, we here at GMS, we're keeping the same energy, man. When the first time that we brought out the MOTB and broke it down, up until 2023, we haven't budged an inch. So I'm gonna read this, and then we already know it with Revelation 13 and 16 is. I'm not even gonna go into it, but certain individuals, I don't gotta name no names, you know who they are. Certain individuals teach that, I think all of them teach that, they teach is sin, right? So we come back with, well, how can you buy and sell with sin? How do they know? You go to the store, you buy stuff, and you cash out, because they're teaching that it's already here. It's here, not on the world level. And the Lord was at Romans 3, verse 23, if I'm not mistaken. The Lord concluded that all are in sin. So guess what? All got the mark. So we're doomed. So anyway, I put in the word sin, right? Comes up 448 times in 389 verses. First time it comes up, it's talking about Cain. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. And if thou doest well, if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. So the first one that received the charagma would be Cain, right? So you can read all these scriptures. I'm just going to jump around, pull out some random scriptures. Okay, Leviticus 5, verse 15. If a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance, it's still a sin in the holy things of the Lord. Then he shall bring forth his trespass. See, there's a sin that you commit in your ignorance, but there's a sin that you know that you're committing sin. Okay, let me go here to Deuteronomy 24, verse 16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. So now this goes out the vocab. It says in Exodus 20, verse 5, start from the fourth verse. It speaks about if you commit a sin, and I believe it was talking about idolatry. It says you're going to pay for it. The father's going to pay for it by the son in the third and fourth generation. So wait a minute. This contradicts what Exodus 20, verse 5 says. That's reincarnation right there. That's talking about your immediate son. You pay for your sins in the form of your son because you come back 3 and 4 generations. This is why I said Abba's great grandson could be Abba coming back, because from Abba's great grandson to Abba, that's 4 generations right there. That's 3, 4 generations, right? Okay, and we can keep going. Let's keep going. Let's see if the word sin is in the New Testament. Matthew 18, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? And he said, no, 70 times 7. What is that, 100? Was that 100 and I think it's 149 times? Meaning there's no way a person's going to sin against you that many times. So no matter how many times they sin against you, then it says in Romans 3, all conclude. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Let me just go to that. Romans 3, verse 23. I believe it's 23. For all, this is Paul speaking, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Most High. So guess what? That means we all got the chip now. That's complete stupidity. So we went, and I'm gonna get ready to close. We went through the word. If you wanted to read every precept, the word sin is mentioned, and I didn't even go into the Apocrypha. Matter of fact, let's go to the Apocrypha. Sin is mentioned, wow, 389 times. But let's go to the Apocrypha. Sin is mentioned in the Apocrypha 54 times. Ecclesiastes 5, verse 5, concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. Like King David added sin unto sin. He committed adultery that led him to commit the act of murder. He set up this man. The scriptures say he killed him with the sword, which he didn't actually do, but he set him up to be killed by the sword. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 27. And an obstinate heart shall be laden with sorrows, and the wicked man shall heap sin upon sin. That means he got two marks on him. So sin is written 54 times in the Apocrypha. So all throughout the scriptures, every time it brings up the word sin, if you sin, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to have to pay for your sins. Do not commit sins. It's a sin to commit sin. So it's plain. If you read the scriptures, you're going to come across the word sin almost 500 times, more than 500 times when you read the whole book, right? And then you understand what sin is. You ask any common person, what does the word sin? You're Christian, what does the word sin mean? Some of them might say it means to miss the mark. So you ask them, what is the mark? And they don't know how to explain it. To miss the mark is to not keep the law. That's why ultimately the Most High is going to put his laws in our inward part. So what this is in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, around about the 50th verse on down. It speaks about we're not going to die because we're not going to have any sin in us. Sin leads to death, right? So now we're talking about 500 times the Most High explains over and over again what sin is and the consequences of committing sin. So why would the Most High come all the way over here in the book of Revelation? We already got been there, done that. We already know what sin is. Why would the Most High come back and put it in code the word mark, meaning sin? Why would he say that? He said that about 500 times. If you didn't get the understanding the first 10 times you came across the word sin, well, there's about another 490 some odd times that he brings it out to you. But then he's going to come back in code and say, if you take the mark, and then some idiot's going to say, oh, that's sin. Ultimately, I came to the conclusion in my mind that these guys are sellouts. Now, it's not the people that follow them, because it's the people that follow them. They're set up to deceive the people. They're nothing but stumbling blocks. If you're teaching that the MOTB is sin, then you are a major stumbling block, because that's the next major prophecy that's getting ready to come to pass. So y'all better wake up. You better start doing some window shopping. You better start considering joining another camp. But for real, there's a reason why we here at GMS say that we have 100% truth and don't get caught up in emotions. Anyway, with that, Shalom.